you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a little rainy outside, but still a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. After a long weekend, right?
Absolutely.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. So I've been in the manufacturing company for about 10 years. I think I played with a lot of the big ballers from Stryker, Zimmer. I did some New Jersey manufacturing as well. So I do have a lot of manufacturing experience, right? I started as a journalist, just blasting parts. And I looked over to my right and I fell in love with the CNC machining. So I got in contact with those guys. Those guys started training me a little bit. I got the CNC certificate, started machining. So I fell in love with that. And then a couple of years down the road, I came across a real cool manager and he came by me being the lead. And he's like, "You're not a machinist." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm your lead." How am I not a machinist?
What do you mean?
And he's like, "No, you could do a lot more." So he introduced me to scheduling. And I had an inventory background somehow back when I was like 18, right? So it kind of clicked with me and I'm like, oh, I love doing inventory. So now I got the manufacturing, so now I know how the machines run. Plus I love doing the inventory. And it was successful for me over there in Stryker. So I did really well with the scheduling.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What was it that got you into manufacturing in the first place?
Honestly, I just needed a job. I started my own business. I tried that but that's when the economy went down, right? So I used to scan documents. So I would bring my scanner over on site, or if I had to do it in my own garage, take the boxes, scan them in, give you a disc, and now you don't have a filing cabinet anymore. So it was running good for about 2 jobs, and then a lot of people was like, "Dude, I'd rather keep it in a filing cabinet than pay you $80,000 to put it in a disc for me," right? So I needed a steady paycheck, so I ended up going to Stryker, and then that was actually a pretty good move because I fell in love with it.
And how long were you there for?
Stryker, funny. So I started as a temp, and I did 2 years there, but then they had the hiring freeze, and that's when I migrated to Zimmer. And then worked in Zimmer for 5 years, and Stryker then called me back. So that was a funny thing. And then, they gave me a good price. It gave me a good opportunity. So I was like, you know what? Let me take this opportunity, right? So that's when I jumped back to Stryker. And then it got me into scheduling, got me into leading position. So it went well for me over there.
So tell me a little bit about the differences. You talked about Zimmer and Stryker, and they're definitely the big boys, the large OEMs. What's the difference working for a contract manufacturer as opposed to one of the, as you put it, big boys?
I think, over here in what I've experienced in Triangle, there's a little bit, I don't know how to put this. So you see how the buildings are different. They have different parts in different buildings, right? So in Stryker, in Stryker better because Zimmer is a different thing. In Stryker, they had different department cells. So there's a little similarity on that. But being that the cells are open all together, I kind of like the separation Triangle has, that they could focus on each client on itself, right? So having just a client base that you focus on rather than having 1,000 different SKUs, I think is a little bit better. It's a little bit more constructive for us, right? Being in the bigger companies, having 10,000 SKUs, 4 different here, and you got a different department over there, I think it gets a little hectic. Coming with the contract, I like how you guys is divided. It feels less pressure, less of that rush that you want to call it, right? So I feel a little bit more relaxed being with the Triangle than I would be with having billions and billions of pieces all over me.
Right. Well, that's actually really good feedback because we are in the process, and each building is structured a little differently, and yours certainly has a very specific client focus. But we do have other buildings that have more of a mix of products, a mix of different clients that we're supporting. And how we're structuring that is beginning to change a little bit, but having that feedback of liking the client focus and liking the fact that you don't have to be thinking about a number of different SKUs and how you can be focused on that particular client is really good feedback for how we can potentially structure ourselves going forward in other areas. Because right now we are looking into a little bit more of what we would refer to as centers of excellence that are not necessarily, they're more machine specific as opposed to product specific. And that is a departure from what we've been doing up until now. So the fact that you're saying that it works better for you, it's really good feedback for me.
I think so. I think it's more focus, right? You know what you got to get your job done, and you get it done perfect.
Yeah,
right? Because you got 100% focus on it.
So tell me a little bit more about the planning aspect of things. I know that's not necessarily something that you're looking to get more into, correct?
Well, yeah. So funny enough, I'm actually a setup machinist here, right? And MedB actually needed help with the scheduling planning the last month and a half or so. So I told Dave, hey, you know what? I do have a little bit of experience in there if you need some help. So I've been helping already for the last, I think, about 2.5 weeks with the planning, the scheduling with them over there. And they have a really good structure. Dave is real good. He has a really good lineup. And I love it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like planning, man. I like the challenge. I like the responsibility that I have to make sure all my guys have work. You know what I mean? And I know the guys like their overtime, right? So they don't want to empty queue.
Absolutely.
So I like to have that responsibility to make sure that they have something to do.
Cool. Yeah. How's it been working with Dave?
Oh, Dave's awesome.
Yeah.
Dave is a real cool guy. Another joke, when I was in Striker, I was actually running the RAS Cups for him. So me and Dave already had meetings prior to that. So that was kind of cool seeing him again. It was like, hey, yeah, remember this is the guy that used to bother me with the RAS Cups, right? That was the joke. But yeah, he's a cool guy. Cool guy.
Dave's been great. He's been with us for a long time now, and you know he's one of those guys that I know I don't ever have to worry about. He's got everything under control. Just everything runs smooth, and you know, if he ever does run into some problems, he raises his hand right away. And but he's the kind of guy that you can be hands off with and just trust things are going to go.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I got from him.
Yeah, for sure. So what else? I mean, we talk a little bit about work, but what are some of the things that you do in your personal life that keep you occupied or get you excited?
Well, I have two boys. Okay. I got a 16 and a 14-year-old going on 15. Very exciting. My oldest is into computer science, so he's doing his whole computer stuff, so that's cool. And then my youngest just got into football again, nice. And he's doing he got introduced to he got accepted to the STEM program in Passaic County Tech, so that's another big milestone for me. I'm really excited about that. So yeah, my boys get me excited. I'm married. I have a wife. I have another daughter that's not human, right? It's a bird, right? So I'm an animal lover, but I got a nice...
What kind of bird?
It's a Quaker parrot. Okay. Yeah, it's beautiful. I got her for a year now, so that's another thing that gets me pretty excited. Sports, I'm very athletic. I like sports. Family oriented. My family's huge. I'm talking about, we did a trip maybe a month ago. Not a month ago, in May, and it was about 72 of us that we all got to the same hotel, same plane. It was wow. Beautiful. When we got there, it was just a mob of people coming. It was real fun. So real family oriented. And like I said, I'm looking for the future, right? I'm looking to see that I keep going up the ladder. Yeah. So I'm excited for the future. And yeah, just pretty much it.
What position does your son play?
He's a wide receiver right now.
All right.
Started as a DB. But I guess he kept bugging that he wanted to be a wide receiver, so he finally got on it. He's on in the second squad, though, on the wide receiver. He's not in the first squad. But he's working his way up.
Still young.
Yeah. Right? No, he's still young. He's still working. He's not a quitter, so I like that. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you enjoy sports as well. Did you play sports growing up?
I did. I played a lot of baseball. Basketball was like a hobby for me. And I started football, but I kind of messed up there. By choosing the girls over the game. Yeah, so, but no, well, trying to do the right thing now with my son there. Yeah. Keep his head focused.
PCTI is an excellent school, and the fact that he's got accepted into the STEM program there is awesome, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great letter.
So sports, family. What else? Is there other things that you have interest? My friend, you mentioned before about having a parrot. My friend had a parrot when I was we were in our 20s, and the thing, it attacked me every time I came in, and he let it just wander around his apartment, and it would burrow and it would make a nest in people's heads. Man. I don't know if do you let yours just wander around the house?
I do, but she doesn't do any of that. She's actually real smart. She would just come on when she wants to hang out with us. She'll fly to your shoulder Just chill there. She kind of cuddles up right next to your neck. It's real cute. And then when she wants to go eat, she'll go eat. I'm not saying she's the best. She has her times, right? And I want to throw a shoe at her or something, right? But it's an animal.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you got to expect. But other than that, she doesn't cause any issues.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about me, but this bird attacked me every time, and when their beaks are sharp.
Oh, she bites. Mine. There's times that she wants to bite. You know, she gets in there and it hurts. Leave it though.
Have you always been a bird lover? What
Animal lover, period.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason why we don't have a dog is the wife keeps on putting his paws on that one. She gives me a lot of negative things. So I'd be like, all right, not yet. But I couldn't hold it no more. And I was like, I need something, right? And so I got me a bird.
Yeah, unfortunately my dog passed away in July. Yeah, thanks. Damn. But we're trying to decide whether or not another pet is something that's going to be in our future or not. And we were talking earlier about my kids in sports and hockey. All three of my kids play travel hockey, so we're not home a lot. So I don't know if it's necessarily the fair thing to do to get a dog or another animal and then not be around. That's the whole point of having it, right?
Yeah,
and it's not fair to the animal either.
Yeah, it's not. And it's a big responsibility. It's not something you could just throw in the corner, right? You got to be there for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it depends on you just as much as everything else. Yeah.
Well, probably more so.
Because they can't do anything. Imagine you get them a job or something, right?
Yeah.
I heard you did some football yourself.
I did.
What position?
So I was an outside linebacker.
Nice.
I played at Rutgers, and then I had a little bit of a career after, bounced around both NFL, NFL Europe, and CFL. When I got up to the CFL, I was there for 2 weeks and ruptured my Achilles. That was sort of the beginning of the end of my career, but yeah,
that sucks.
So
sorry to hear that.
But I made a childhood dream last for a few years, and while I was living it more or less in and out of a suitcase for most of that time. The only place that I put down roots was in Philadelphia. I was on their practice squad for a year.
Okay.
So, but I was over in NFL Europe. I actually won a championship over there, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, it really prepared me for a lot of the things that I do today. The translating of leadership and perseverance and dealing with adversity, working with other people. It to me, so much of it translates to what we do here at Triangle, that it was really, it prepared me way more than I would have ever expected.
Nice. It's crazy how that works, right? Like things in your life prepare you for the next step, right? It's like I had the inventory when I was 18, and then all of a sudden I'm 28, and all of a sudden I get the inventory section again, right? So I was already prepared for it. Real big God believer, so that's why I'm saying that, right? So I'm saying he prepared me for the end note.
Yes.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. And then look, you did the thing, and I was preparing you for leadership, right?
That's cool. It's things happen for a reason, right?
Yep. Absolutely. How hard did you hit? You hit hard?
I hit pretty hard.
Good.
I hit pretty hard. I could run. I have a hard head, so I played well in space. That was my thing. In fact, probably would have been better geared for today's NFL than 20-something years ago's NFL. But like I said, it was a great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. As far as I know, I don't have any long-term effects of concussions or anything like that. My body hurts quite a bit, but I don't know if that's just the age that I'm at or the abuse that I put it through when I was a kid. But
my middle linebacker is no joke, man. That's a tough position. Yeah. I love defense. Defense is one of the best parts. Without defense, you can't win the game.
Yes. Defense wins championships, right?
That's it. Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned about the future and growth here at Triangle, and that's something that is definitely really, we are in such a growth pattern right now. Over the course of the last year, we've made more capital investments than we have in any previous year prior. We are continuing to grow. We're starting to run out of space. We've hired, I want to say in the last 6 months, I think we've hired over 40 people. And we have a long list of positions that we're still looking to fill. So really excited about where we're going and really the opportunities that it's going to create for a lot of people like yourself who are looking for not just a job, but a career and career advancement. As we continue to grow, those opportunities grow with it. So, really excited about the direction we're going in. We've been challenged with supply chain just like everybody else in regard to being able to deliver on time. We're certainly not perfect, but I feel like we've outperformed a lot of our competitors, which is putting us in a really great position for new work and new opportunities. So nice. I think that the future is really bright here, and hopefully you're feeling the same way.
Oh, I am. I'm definitely. You could see the picture. I mean, everybody's real excited. Especially with the emails when you say, "Watch out, another machine's coming in." That's always nice to know that a business is investing in itself, right? Because if it's investing in itself, it's thinking long term. Yeah. So that's always a great thing. And then you can see the excitement, right? The manager's excitement when they got another forecast for another year is always awesome, right? So very exciting.
Yeah, and we're trying to lock down some longer term commitments with a lot of our clients, so we have stability there. Certainly, Stryker being one of them, but a number of our clients, and I think it adds to our stability, but it also adds to their stability as well. So I think it's a mutually beneficial thing for everybody.
I think so. I think so. I've seen a lot of good machinists since I got here, and they're good. You guys got a good machinist. And the technology, forget about it. I love it. The iPad with the tool sheet and step by step, man. It's very impressive. I was very impressed when I got in.
So back in 2015, we put a 5-year strategic plan in place that had one of which was to go paperless on our shop floor. And creating those custom software packages that we're using on the iPads that marry up with our ERP system Infor was something that we set out to do then. And 5 years later, we actually had accomplished it. It was not only did a full new ERP implementation, but the platform that we chose, like I said, Infor, one of the reasons that we chose it was that it was able to interact with a lot of the solutions that we were creating in FileMaker, which is what we're using on the iPad. So all of that stuff ends up being real time, and like in each of the buildings, we've got our different KPI trackers, and all that stuff is updated real time as things are put into those iPads and then going into the system. So I think it's super cool. We went from being completely paper-based and sort of, back in it felt like the 80s and 70s, now to really being at the cutting edge. And one of the things that I like about what we do is constantly trying to push that. How can we be one or two more steps ahead of our competition? And that's been one of them.
Yeah, and it was a great move. Like I said, it was very impressive. The technology was awesome. Yeah, it's almost can't even make a mistake. It's really like it gets you to the right spot all the time. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed using it.
Yeah, I mean, we try to make it as foolproof as possible, so it makes everybody's job as simple and straightforward and understandable, right? I mean, if you come in and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing on a daily basis, makes it a lot tougher.
It is. It's a long day. It's a long day.
Yeah.
But yes, that was a great move.
Yeah. So and then just continuing to grow our client base. That's something that I'm always passionate about, is how do we get involved with new clients, get involved with new technology. You mentioned earlier about saving people's lives or bettering people's lives. I think that's something that a lot of people here are passionate about, is that we are in the med device industry and that we do support making people's lives better in one way, shape, or form. So I think that there's an additional intrinsic value to that you don't just get because you're making a widget.
Right. Absolutely. So you take a little bit more pride on that piece. Well, I think so, right? You really want that piece to be perfect because somebody's going to put this on. So
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. So any other things that you have noticed as far as a difference at Triangle from some of the things that you've done in the past, or?
The culture, I could tell you right now, Triangle culture is a very friendly, you could tell it's very family, helpful. It's a very good culture you guys have here. Everybody's really attentive. Even though we're in different separate buildings, a lot of people come around because you needed their help. They'll come from one building to another just to come and make sure you're okay. Even if the problem got fixed, there's somebody that still came, hey, you still need help. It was real nice. And I felt that as soon as I came in, right? It was a culture that was given to you. It was like, here, this is what we are, and I love it. Very good.
It is probably the thing that gets me most excited about my job is working on things that are going to improve the employee experience at Triangle. And that culture is such a big piece of it. So when I'm meeting with, say, Lizette and Roisin in HR, and we start to talk about, okay, well, what could we do different? What could we do better? How could we improve the employee experience? So not only is it a great place to work, but also, people want to stay.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to find great, talented people, but making sure that you hold on to them, that's important. That's real important. So, it's one of the things that when we start to talk about what possibly could be and where we're going with some of that stuff, again, that's really what gets me the most excited about my job, because it's about supporting you and everybody else.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's real cool. I like it.
Good. You have any questions for me?
No, you already answered the future for me and played football. Know you're family oriented as well.
Absolutely.
I'm not right now.
No.
I don't have anything on top of my head.
Yeah, the family aspect, I think, is a very common thing. Not only, you mentioned you're a family man. I'm obviously a family man, but Triangle being a family company, it's a theme that I think is important and serves us well.
Yeah.
So
no, it's great. Like, you feel part of the family right there. So that was good.
Nice.
And you guys do a real good job selling it, let me tell you. So keep it up. Definitely.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about since it's a little fresh for you, the onboarding process and what it was like, say, those first couple of weeks at Triangle.
It was cool. You know what? It felt like I was in a college course, right? So we would come in, work, and then we would have to go to class and sit down. And I met some people that I actually worked with, so that was kind of cool. The group I was in, I already knew them. And Megan was awesome, right? She came in and she went from A to Z and told us this is what it is. And she explained it really well. She was thorough with us. She gave us time. She was patient. And I think I learned a lot in the couple weeks in orientation. Very much. I learned how to do the IPs. I learned how to read the info. It was a lot of different cool starter kits, you want to call it, that were presented to me.
Cool. Good. You mentioned Megan. She came in this morning, and obviously it's raining, and she had her umbrella and her raincoat, and she was carrying a whole bunch of stuff, and she looked, frankly, a little disheveled. And she said, so I said, "Oh, good morning, Megan. How are you doing?" She said, "Very emotional." And she had just dropped her oldest child off for kindergarten for the first time. So she said it was like tearing her heart out that their daughter was leaving and going into kindergarten. And she said, and it was no big deal for her. She's like, "Bye, Mom."
Oh, wow.
So
you ripped the Band-Aid right off.
Right off. But, so that was my little bit of interaction with Megan. But she's relatively new to Triangle as well, and has been a great addition to the team. So glad to hear that your experience with the onboarding was as good as it was. And I think it certainly has allowed you to hit the ground running.
Definitely did. Yeah. Definitely did. Came in and, I learned that. Oh, yeah, I know how to do that. So not bad teaching. Very good teaching.
Good. Well, I appreciate you spending some time with me today. This has been a great conversation.
Appreciate you having me. All right.